Welcome to HSBC Build and Grow, a series that focuses on managing finance for business continuity. As financials takes center stage in business continuity conversations, Your Story together with HSBC is proud to present this series, featuring some of the finest minds in the ecosystem to help businesses leverage the financial ingenuity, perspective, and insights from these experts to power their own journey, their own continuity. Amisha, very excited to be talking to you. And one thing which I found you have said somewhere is that you have instituted this four core principles at Zivame: innovation anywhere and everywhere, customer obsession, impact, one team, one voice, one vision. This is very, very powerful. Tell us about this. And how has it manifested in the culture within your team at Zivame?
I think, Shraddha, it's been a 2-year journey now at Zivame. And when I kind of came in, the idea was to sort of look at the space and see how do we scale this. As you know, that this category has been it's been an interesting category, has gone through a significant transformation in the last few years, right? It's been ridden with its own challenges, or rather in the past, I don't know if you've heard, but a lot of people when I came and asked me, Amisha, will there ever be a brand that crosses the 200 crore mark in this category, right? So there has been some of those very intrinsic challenges. And as I, started this journey, the four core principle kind of came out of the from a context which I'll talk about. It was when we looked at the space, right? I started defining, what are we really solving for? What are we doing here? Zivame had gone through a couple of pivots by then, right? I mean, we started as a marketplace, moved into this whole price point, sort of private label, fashion-oriented structure. And the idea was to kind of now build a brand. And as we looked at the consumer pain points, as we defined what was the challenge with the category, it was extremely important to kind of sort of get the organization to hone in and focus. And it was a very interesting mix. Now, if you see, the world has got retailers who are doing a great job, and the world has got brands that were doing a great job. And here we were aspiring to be both.
Yeah.
And hence it was extremely important that we kind of define a value system, define who are we and what we stand for. And this kind of came out of that, right? And so as we began a journey, we sort of set up our vision. We decided that, this is where we're going to go. And we actually reorganized ourselves in a big way. So about 2 years ago, we sort of went through a massive transformation internally as well, to set up the organization for sort of, looking at the scale and, at some level aspiring to be $1 billion brand. That's where we realized that the one thing, the three pain points as we started to, solve towards. The first one that the category faced was a shopping experience issue, right? And which is what Zivame was about, right? We were solving for giving the consumer a great shopping experience, but it was not just about getting the offline to online, right? It was about, it was a lot to do with how do we change her journey? And, that was the first part of it. The second was the ecosystem that had been built had been optimized. The manufacturers, retailers had optimized the ecosystem predominantly for that ecosystem rather than the consumer. So in all of this, the consumer was not winning, right? If you saw, there were these black and white and beige colored bras that were available, not many sizes available. But, so what you saw was a lack of innovation, lack of product in the market. And that's the other thing that we realized with our data, right? And the third thing was about communication. There was just a clear lack of communication about how she can shop, what she can sort of, find, where can she find it. The conversations were missing, right? And that's more to do with our societal fabric. So these are the three things that the category was kind of, the challenge that was there. One needed to solve all of these three to really succeed, right? So the four core principles sort of came about with saying that, look, everything we do, we will innovate. Everything that we look at, everything that we touch, we're going to think about how do we do it differently, right? And how do we do it better? How do we make it more effective? So when it came to merchandise, right, we built products which were really fit for the Indian market. You will find one of the most innovative, lightest products, in this space that we built, which is the Miracle Bra. So it was a lot to do with product innovation there. Second thing was, innovate in anything and everything we do was also about the technology. the platform that we were building, right? We were solving a big problem of how do we ensure that we give her and enable her to get the right fit in a virtual world, right, without measuring herself. And we developed our fit code 2.0, where she doesn't have to actually measure herself. Again, that was again a sort of grounded in innovation, right? So that was one of them. The second one is the idea of bringing that whole agility, the nimbleness back into the organization. As we kind of look towards our vision, the idea was that anything that we do, let's make sure that we are focused on the impact we bring, right? So let's say that you're trying to set up a store, right? What are you here to do? Think about what is the impact to the consumer. Think about how do we sort of improve their experience, right? And the third is, in all of this, in all of what we're doing, how do we obsess about the consumer? How do we think of her? And it was absolutely critical because, like I said earlier, the one acknowledgement or realization we had is that the reason this category hadn't grown the way it had grown was all along this category was built in a way that it was optimized for the people in the value chain and not for the consumer. In all of this, the consumer wasn't winning. And we wanted to kind of make sure that I wanted to ensure that the focus of the organization was towards the consumer. And last but not the least, we were embarking on a journey which was very, very, very unique. Like I told you, not many organizations do best of both the worlds, right? I'm going to be a great retailer, I'm going to be a great brand. And hence, it was imperative to build a culture. It was absolutely important that we all worked as a team. And hence this core motto of one team, one voice. We kind of added one more thing at the end of it, which was one vision. So all of us were kind of working towards one goal, and the goal was to ensure that she was successful. The goal was to ensure that at the end of all of this, the Indian woman should find her lingerie, her fit, and should be able to find that fit and comfort. So, as I talk about fit and comfort, and, a lot of people kind of say that, hey, it's a garment. The one challenge I've seen in this category, Shraddha, is that the context and the understanding of why this piece of garment is so important for her. The understanding of what does it take to build the right lingerie for her. And the understanding of that, what does it do to her at a personal level, the confidence that it gives her when she starts her day with the right piece of garment. And I think sort of that is the core of this, right? We needed to make sure that the consumer wins. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of the context behind sort of putting these four things in front of us as an organization and putting ourselves on an accelerated growth path. Today, we are the number one direct-to-consumer brand. We are a one-stop destination for her. It's a great place to be. I think looking back 2 years, the team has achieved a significant amount, but it just feels like the tip of the iceberg. There's a long way to go.
No, but phenomenal, Amisha. What you've done is really phenomenal, and especially because we have been observant participants and looking at Zivame like over the years, and that brings me to the question, like somewhere the role that you played in Zivame is, I think, very powerful. It has created impact. I want to understand from you. You came from outside. You were not the founder of Zivame, and that's why this whole thing where you created this one team, one vision, goal is so powerful. Yeah, one voice, and creating that, commanding that kind of a presence within the company, taking the brand to the next level. I think it would. I can just imagine what a journey you would have made. Just tell us, what does it mean to come and head a company which you've not started and take it to where it is? Your own personal learnings, your own personal, things that you've done, because this is exciting, this is new. For whatever reasons, this is very different, right? Like, and it's also very hard, and that's why it's very hard. But you've done that. So tell us, from your last 2 years, what does it mean?
I'd just say, I think it's been a very fulfilling journey. It's been exciting, and for a second, I think that thought of not owning the company hasn't crossed my mind. I think from the very beginning, it's my baby, right? I mean, if I think about it, because when I took over, a lot of great work had been done. By then, I think Zivame had a certain place. Zivame started as a marketplace to solve for one of the very key problems, right? Um, and by then, there was a second big realization that, look, there aren't many products in the market that we can sell on our marketplace. And so this whole private label strategy had kind of come in, which was a price point led strategy. It actually, it was kind of peeling the layers of the onion, right? So if I look at this company, right, it was a very different sort of a very different organization before, right? And I just want to kind of pause here before I jump into the question and answer your question about my journey, right? It's important to understand that this business, this company is not like, and I've run a few other businesses before. So this company and this category is not like any other category. What the one big realization, right? To be honest, when I took over, it was a job of like, we are going to transform this, we're going to grow this, we're going to, the mandate was to kind of build it as a brand and to transform the company. Only as you enter it, I realized this was actually ridden with a lot of challenges, and the challenges were not internal to the company alone. It was a big external challenge, which was more to do with how multiple forces of the society had kind of come together to sort of impact the way this category had grown. So I would say prior to Zivame days, right, it was almost a flat growth for this category, right? You saw that a lot of players in the market in different parts, and you saw that the category was growing flat. Well, Zivame came in and solved for the first challenge, which is the shopping experience that I talked about earlier, right? I think it was a big deal for an Indian woman. They solved for the convenience, the returns, the non-judgmental shopping, so to say, to kind of solve for a lot of those things. Like I said, in the process, this understanding of that there is a lack of product in the market. So the second step kind of was taken. Now you have to imagine our organization built for marketplace sort of a model, still trying to buy product and, sort of doing some level of buying, right? But was actually built with the thinking of marketplace, right? And when you start thinking of a brand, it's a very different ballgame, right? You have to think product, you think concept, you talk about your inspiration, what does the brand stand for, who are we, all of those things, right? So when I took over, I was basically taking an organization that was kind of built for some very different reasons, right? And all great because they were solving and peeling the onion of this category, right? And so the idea now was how do we now take this to, which already has a very solid base, how do we sort of take it forward? It's been one of those journeys where I had to kind of pause and say that, oh my God, I'm going to have to sort of in a moment you're like, I'm going to have to relook at this, right? So it felt like a clean slate. The reason I say it's my baby is because it was a clean slate. And I remember having the conversation with the board, and I have to, all credit to them. They said, Amisha, do what it takes, but let's build the best brand out there. Let's build the best company out there, right? And that meant a lot. It was a great journey because I think it needed some hard calls, and the first 6 months were tough. Sort of relooking at the brand, re-articulating the brand was one big thing we did, right? If you saw that we went through a transformation in the brand logo, we talked about that we are an all-inclusive brand. We're not the Victoria's Secret of India, which I think Zivame was talked about as before. We're not that. We're exactly the other end of it. We're an inclusive brand. We're here to solve things for an Indian woman where she doesn't feel judged. She feels included. She feels part of it, right? It's a sisterhood of sorts. So sort of setting that brand vision and then aligning the organization was an absolute imperative thing to do, which meant really hard calls. And so went through that. The only thing I will say is there were a lot of people in the organization who were believers and passionate about the brand and about the cause. And the reason I say it's a cause because as we work through it day in and day out, we're not selling bras. We are selling a solution for her, which 85-90% of the women have never even realized that that they've been wearing the wrong bra size, right? And if I tell you, for example, if I tell another woman that, hey, you know what, there's a chance that you are wearing the wrong bra size, most of us wouldn't even accept it. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that 85% must be somebody else, right?
Yeah.
But, over years, she finds herself that her straps are digging. There's a black mark on her shoulders, black mark around her chest. There's this, maybe numbness in her fingers that has come in, and she's thinking it's age, it's something else. No, it's your bra, right? So, sort of focusing the organization for the and ensuring that the realization of what we're doing, and the realization that it's actually a big cause. And we are a 50% men and women organization today, which I'm very proud of. Extremely, sort of a organization that's very, very diverse, and it's just perfect from that perspective. And you find the men in our organization equally passionate about it, right? So for me, that part of the journey has been very, very fulfilling for me, building this team that has done such a phenomenal job. They have kind of embraced the vision, and just we've gone after it. We've grown 3x in less than 2 years. We've expanded all our metrics. We've built a very solid business in terms of profitability, in terms of our unit economics, and also a back-end organization that is building products based on data learning, consumer understanding, and hence aligning the supply chain. So I think a lot of things that we've achieved. But I think all of this kind of the credit goes back to that one team, one vision, one voice. So I think my job was just to kind of put that vision in place and put the right people in place. And also sort of, empower them, ensure that they believe they have the right to build and grow this. And so today, if you look at the team, you will not feel that it is not the founding team. This team performs like a founding team. This team owns the company as a founding team.
When you give this answer, I'm like just so impressed, because yes, it is the team, it is the people, and it takes a team to win, and
Yeah.
but it also takes a leader, and you have been a very strong, phenomenal leader, and you have to embrace that. Amisha, I wanted to ask, there's this news, right, about Zivame, which all of us have read and heard, that Reliance has taken 15% of stake, right? They bought Ronnie Screwvala's stake. What does it mean for the company? Just because it's all over the news, what does it mean? Because there's more news around it, right? That there might be 100% buyout. Tell us if you can share something on those.
Shraddha, I think what is exciting is that in 2 years we have a lot of people who are interested, and these are probably from an investor based perspective, people who sort of wondered whether this category could ever see more than 200 crores.
Yeah.
Also, which is extremely heartening, extremely exciting. um, and we believe, and our board also believe, that Zivame has a huge runway. And as I spoke to you earlier, our vision is to be that $1 billion brand, right? We got a lot of interest from strategics. So at this point in time, like you said, that there is a 15% stake that Reliance has taken. That's what has been in the news. I guess the only thing I can say is that they were quite interested, and they wanted to kind of make sure that they're part of the journey. And so they've taken that stake as a secondary transaction. But we're tracking on our path. It's a company that is still chasing its goal. We are still wildly going after our goal to grow even this year, in the current scenario. So nothing changes from us for us from that perspective. It just gives us a lot of confidence that even in these times, you have people looking to wanting to buy out a secondary, and are sort of looking to invest in Zivame. And I think that's the only takeaway I have out of this.
We can't not be talking to you and take from you this understanding of the Indian consumer, because there's been so many things written about the way women purchase, the way they interact with this product. Tell us, what has been your observations about the Indian consumer when it comes to purchasing lingeries?
I think the one thing I would say is the Indian consumer is extremely, extremely smart. Extremely discerning, very aware. But when it comes to this category, the awareness is only contained or is within the space of the friend or the sister or the aunt that you might have. So while she's really good at saying whether I should buy it, and she has a solid gut sense of, whether this is the right value for me, what to buy has been something that that is generally missing for this category, because we've never been exposed. I've met a lot of educated women sitting in high profile jobs today, and you'll be surprised when they tell me that, Amisha, we thought the bra was always supposed to be uncomfortable. And so, sort of we're starting from there, as far as the understanding is concerned. So on one end, she's extremely savvy in terms of what she wants, and how much she's going to, what's the value, right, that she puts. But on the other end, what we find is there is a gap, right? And for this, one has to kind of go deeper into the societal fabric. You'll be surprised rather that even today I find women, and again, I will say income and education has no bearing on this. Highly educated, extremely well-to-do families, women are still sort of in the zone of that, a bra will be uncomfortable, right? On the other hand, you have women who understand, and that's a very small percentage, who understand this category, who know what to buy because they've been buying this from outside India for years. Their fathers or uncles or aunts would come in, go out and come in, and they would buy from outside, right? So it's a very interesting sort of mix, right? And so what we find is that we have a big job in front of us. We have a huge task of educating from just the space perspective, right? And helping her understand that what is right for her. And as I was telling you earlier, we are a brand that is inclusive, that is about her. We want her to sort of just be herself when she comes to our platform. We don't want her to sort of say that, oh, I looked at that beautiful model and that's a perfect body, and I'm going to well, I want that, but I don't know, maybe it doesn't look good on me, I'm not going to try, right? Or we don't want her to feel that, look, that's the only way to go about things. So I think from a consumer perspective, what we are trying to do at this point in time is ensure that she understands the nuances, right? What is the functional benefit? What is the comfort and the emotional benefit around it? What is it that can she pair it right? How can she make sure that she gets the look that she wants? Because the way she puts her lingerie on, what she wears determines her outwardly confidence, her outwardly look. A simple thing like a line showing out of a t-shirt doesn't give you that much confidence. Rather, a seamless look on your kurta or a t-shirt sort of gives you that confidence to, when you talk to people. So from an Indian consumer perspective, I think to just answer your question, she, like I said, I think extremely good at sort of figuring out what to buy, but at the same time, there's a lot of handholding required as a friend, and we want to be that friend to her who can provide her that information about what to buy, how to buy, etc.
Amisha, if you can talk about this, that 90% plus of Zivame's business comes from its own brand store, 80% of your business is online, and a good chunk of your revenue is coming from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. This is very significant, right? So and it's very diverse. So tier 2, tier 3, tell us, and how do consumers how do they get to know about you?
I think a lot of it has to do with the word of mouth, I would say, because the kind of inbound we get from some of these tiers, and the kind of inbound queries we get even from the trade outlets, right? Like when our sari shipware video went out, we got overnight that we got more than, not overnight, but in about 10 months, without even pushing the video, we got more than sort of 80 to 100 million views, right? Now, some of this has led to inbound queries from even trade outlets which are in the tier 3, tier 4 zones, right? They want to carry a product. Similarly, I think, so consumers are sort of consuming some of this content that we put out there. At the same time, a lot is also to do with the word of mouth, right? If I try a sari shipware, I'm probably going to tell my mom or my sister that, I like this product, why don't you sort of try it? So what we're realizing is with this category, that first inner circle, right? That main core circle of influence that you have is where we sort of start seeing that people are, coming into the fold. But the second big effort is from the brand's perspective. And we've been at it. When I was talking to you earlier about the conversations we are trying to build, right, or the information that we're trying to put together for her, so that she can, she can find a way to shop. I think the video content that we put out that on a regular basis, literally in a month, you'll probably see us put out anywhere between 8 to 10 videos. We work a lot on blogs, we work on some of the other social content. So I think a lot of it has to do with the conversation we're having with the consumers. We've also done some work in vernacular. We've seen a good offtake on that. So, we see that there's some legs to that as well. To the question on tier 2, tier 3, what we are realizing is that there's a lot more to do in tier 1 and tier 2, tier 3. So we've not gone about sort of pushing very hard in terms of marketing in the tier 2, tier 3, right? But we're still getting a pull from there. But at the same time, I feel that there's so much more potential to sort of push in tier 1 as well, right? And so again, I think it's all pointing to the fact that there is a real need. Women are looking to find a platform that is comfortable to them, where they can shop. And, we sort of see people shopping from all the spaces. At the end of the day, what I see right now is we're in a great place. We're in a place where, from a fundamentals, from a business model, from the unit economics perspective, we are, we are on a very solid break-even path, which is a beautiful place to be, because now it's all going to be about how do we go scaling this, right? We've kind of done our job. We've done the cleanup that we wanted. Our house is, we're ready. We're ready to welcome her. And so the next phase is the next 2 years, you'll just see us push the pedal.
Okay, before we end, you're on Money Matters. So I want to ask you, what has money meant to you personally?
I think money has meant different things at different stages. I personally believe that money is an equation, where a couple of different variables come in, right? It's your risk appetite, it's your life stage, it's how you're seeing your next 5 to 10 years. So for me personally, it has meant very different things. And it's about, do you want to use, a lot of people would probably use money to buy something because it makes them happy, or they want to invest in something. So I think my personal philosophy is sort of, pause, evaluate where you are. What is it that you want to do? As a family, what is our risk appetite today? Where do we see ourselves in the next 10 years, and sort of invest or save accordingly, right? I think I personally believe that everybody should have their own philosophy around money. I wouldn't recommend anybody taking something prescribed by me or anybody else, because only you know your circumstances, right? I've seen people who wanted to save for 2-3 years because they wanted to build their own business, have their own startup. And I think that's a great thing to do. So while on the other end, people say that, look, I have 2 years of my life, I'm going to go out and, spend all of it and travel and, enjoy myself, and sort of, because that's what is going to make me happy. So I think, like I said, I think the journey and the relationship with money, I believe, changes from time to time. And that's been the case with us as well.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much, Amisha. Really very inspiring talking to you.